Hey everybody, my name is Scott Larsen. I'm a chiropractor at the Institute for Health and Healing. Today I'm going to be talking about fundamental primal human movement patterns and the ability to recognize the fact that you may have lost them and then a plan to restore them. Movement is super important, it matters, and it seems simple. Our bodies are designed to run, to jump, to manipulate objects, do all kinds of cool stuff. But the problem is, we spend a lot of our days sitting, we repeat that over and over again, and we lose the ability to do these fundamental, primal, paleo movements. We want to get them back. Excess sitting is not good. It's linked to lots of diseases, and that's the long-term consequences of excess sitting. And the short term is we end up not being able to move our bodies. So that's the fundamental primary reason I'm giving these talks, is to avoid the long-term health consequences of leading a sedentary life, and in the short term, increase our movement, increase our joy, increase our ability to do what makes us human, which is move. The average American sits 13 to 15 hours per day. So it's not surprising that there's consequences to that. Sitting all day is not something we are designed to do. Only 18% of Americans meet the exercise guidelines, and in older populations, that number goes down to only about 10% meeting the exercise guidelines. It's been shown that if you meet those guidelines, you can avoid a lot of the health consequences that come with being sedentary. It's a lifestyle-based factor that you can modify, but you just got to get out and do it. There's 7 movement patterns that the human body can do. We're going to be focusing on the main movement patterns, which are push, pull, squat, lunge, hinge, twisting, and walking, also known as gait. So when we're born, we gain these abilities over a little bit of time through our infant and toddler years. And then a lot of people end up losing them when we go into schools and sitting all the time. Those abilities slowly go away, and before you know it, they're gone, and you don't even realize it. So today we're going to be talking about the squat. The squat is a movement that consists of starting from a standing position, bending our trunk, bending our knees, bending our hips, and going down and letting our back of our legs, our calves, and the back of our hamstrings touch. That's considered a squat. And in the context of this talk, I'm not talking about this in the form of a squat-based exercise where you're doing a number of repetitions using a weight to perform this exercise. I'm talking about just doing this movement, going into a squat position and staying there, sitting in a squat position. So a sit squat or a squat sit, however you want to talk about it. So in many cultures around the world to this day, the sit squat is still used throughout the day-to-day routines, the day-to-day rituals that people do, from eating, socializing, resting, playing games, and even going to the bathroom. The sit squat is the preferred position. But nowadays, especially in, I guess, westernized cultures, most people cannot get into a deep squat at all, let alone comfortably hang out and rest there. So that's the point of this talk, is we want to be able to do that. We want to be able to get into a squat, sit there, rest there, and be comfortable. So it might take some time, and I'll give you the challenge here in a moment. And so you want to think about being able to do this movement and incorporate it in your life by potentially doing some of the things you're doing now in the squat sit position. One of the easiest ones is working at a laptop. You can set the laptop either on the ground or near the ground, get into a deep squat position, and then work from there for a few minutes. This is a great place to play with kids and with pets. Getting down into a squat, playing there is awesome. You can use it as a movement break. So if you are sitting at a computer or standing at a computer for long periods of time and you need a break from that computer, why don't you go into a squat sit position and take a movement break there. It's a great way to stretch and move the body. Talking on the phone, watching TV, watching shows, all that stuff is fantastic to do for a short period of time in the squat sit position. And then, of course, going to the bathroom in this position is the natural human way to go to the bathroom. But to do it in the modern context, you might need a stool or a step to bring your legs up to incorporate this movement pattern while you're going to the bathroom. So the challenge and the goal for the next couple of weeks is to do the sit squat every day and to accumulate 10 minutes of squatting. You can do it however you like, but I'd recommend you break it up into short periods of the sit squat throughout the day. A couple minutes here, a minute there. That's going to get you to the 10-minute mark, and that's the challenge. And I can tell you, if you do that every day for that 10 minutes, your body's going to start figuring out how to regain this movement. It's not going to be easy at first if you're not already doing this, but it will come. So let's talk about the body mechanics of doing a sit squat. So first of all, I would recommend you do this with your foot flat on the ground. That means your toes, the ball of your foot, as well as your heel, all on the ground when you're doing the squat position. That is ideal. Try and do that right from the get-go. If that's not doable, place some sort of a support underneath your heels so you can still put your weight on your heels. Roll up a towel, use a book, maybe a wedge if it works. Place that under your heels and until you can kind of go down into that position comfortably. The second part of the mechanics of this is you may need to use your arms to either balance or support your weight. So find a countertop, a door frame, a table, something sturdy that you can hold onto with your arms and your hands and support your body weight, that you can gradually lessen as you get better doing this. So hold on to something if you need to. Heels all the way on the ground. And then the position of your feet and knees is not as crucial to doing a sit squat as you may think it is. You do want to notice that if you have pain doing this, you try and modify your body position so that it's less painful or pain-free. That is definitely the ideal. So you may have to play with where your knees and your toes point, how wide your stance is. All that stuff is something you have to modify in order to get as comfortably sit squat based position as possible. So use your phone, set a timer, track your progress, try and accumulate 10 minutes per day for the next few weeks, and then notice how you do after you're consistent with this. You'll be surprised that the body starts to adapt and this starts to become comfortable. So not only does squatting help your hips, your knees, your ankles be more mobile, it also stretches and can decompress your spine. The upright position, sitting all day, really does put a lot of force on the spine, which compresses everything. And this position can help elongate the spine, maybe provide you with a stretch, maybe even give you a little back pain relief if you're dealing with back pain. From a personal standpoint, resting in this squat position helps relieve my neck, the tension that builds up in my neck, my low back, from being kind of upright and doing my day-to-day activities. Squatting is really comfortable from that perspective. So that's the challenge. Good luck restoring some of these movement patterns, starting with the squat. And I look forward to hearing stories and successes as you have them. So please let me know if you have any questions, and I'd love to troubleshoot some of this with you.